Here it is then. The time is now. The riders will be making their way to the dummy grid. The opening race of the 2025 FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship, brought to you by Master Mac. It is, of course, the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites, this combined class that will have separate championships but fighting for position on the same track. The riders getting ready. Of course, these guys can be as young as 7 years old out there and pushing onwards, but it is still very, very furious racing.
Yeah, we are just waiting for them to start their outlap, and then we will have the grid ready to go, and it's going to be some very exciting racing, I think, over the next couple of hours.
It will absolutely be so. Just a reminder of the start procedure for you here at FAB-Racing. It has been a long time. We need to dust off those cobwebs in your brain. It will be the riders coming out of the dummy grid, heading round to the grid. Then there will be a sighting lap, and then it'll be time to go racing. And it will be very, very exciting indeed. The AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites, 9 laps await them here at Lydd, and of course all the pressure on those young shoulders. Not only are they trying to show what they can do at the start of the season, show where they're going to be fighting for the championship, but the whole world's watching. It's the first race of the year.
Yeah, and they've got to let that pressure not get to them. They just have to keep their focus on getting that first place and getting the best they can out of these bikes.
Absolutely, but Izzy, you said to me earlier on, though, you said that when these riders go out there and the visors go down, it all fades away.
Yeah, exactly. It's the mentality of motorbike racing. That visor goes down, you are focused on what you see in front of you, and that's that. And if you can see a gap, you go for it to get that podium spot.
Absolutely. As the riders make their way out onto the circuit, let's run through the grid. Maxwell Keats will start from pole position. Tommy Williams alongside with Jensen Cedras in P3. P4 will be Henry Brodie with Danny Longhurst 5th and Joey Athasich in P6. Claudia Dubman starts 7th with Ethan Bayliss in P8 and Oliver Wilson P9, rounding out our grid today. Should be very, very exciting to see what these young riders can do as they make their way round towards the grid. Of course, you'll see here as they cut along to the inside, those cones have been put out down the back straight. You'll see the riders cutting inside. They do this awkward loop section. It's a bit slow compared to the rest of the racetrack, but it just allows that technical ability to shine through for the Minimotos. Hard brakes, getting the bike tipped in, just carrying your momentum, making sure your line's right so you can punch out of the corners for there's almost the short shoot style straights, and then back onto the main racing surface for the final 2 corners and onto the grid. Izzy, what can we expect from these young riders here?
We can expect a lot from these young riders, I think, Ross. Here they are just lining up now. Like you said, we've got Maxwell Keats first on the grid, followed by Tommy Williams in 2nd, Jensen Cedras in 3rd, followed by Henry Brodie in 4th. On our 3rd row, we have Danny Longhurst and Joey Athasich. And then on our 4th row, we have Claudia Dudman and Ethan Bayliss. And in 9th place, we have Oliver Wilson.
Absolutely. Some issues maybe there for Danny Longhurst on the 26, was checking the bike, but everything now seems to be okay. Lee Clowes, our flag marshal, looking ready, just shielding the sun away from her eyes at the front of the grid, but ready to set them on their way. You can see she's just talking with race control. They're just out of the picture, but that was just a thumbs up to our race director, Roger Keys. The point to the lights, 2025 is about to get underway. The red lights are on. It is lights out. We are underway in 2025. Great launch away there from Tommy Williams on the 61 bike. He will inherit the lead down into turn 1, and as they snake their way through the opening sector, you can see the accordion effect rippling away, looking to the inside there. Maxwell Keats trying to regain his lead. Can't quite find the way through Tommy Williams through the opening few corners. Looks to the inside. Door is shut. Not quite an opportunity to make the move just yet. Already a bit of a split starting to form between the front of the pack and those more towards the rear, but it's all clean opening. Good starts from everyone, and as they push their way around, it will be Tommy Williams that leads the way.
And it's looking to be quite a tight battle at the moment for first place. We have got in the lead, we have got Tommy Williams, and he's getting quite a bit of a gap going now, and the battle for second place is tight.
Yeah, absolutely, making their way round to the end of the opening lap, and it is Tommy Williams that leads the way from Maxwell Keats in P2, and actually as they push their way around, looks like they have in fact swapped positions there. So that is great to see as they push their way around. Third place, Jensen Cedras as well. He's trying to push his way through the number 51. So Tommy Williams dropping back into second, and Cedras, who started third, trying to improve from his grid position. As they make their way to the S's section, we see Cedras looks to the inside, has to stand the bike up just a little bit there, but he's definitely on the attack, maybe smelling blood. Is that potentially Tommy Williams feeling the pressure as they head down the back straight? Once again, Cedras to the inside, but the two cannot find any space. Right now, Tommy Williams doing a great job to hold on to second.
He is indeed, and he's getting a bit of a gap going now on Cedras. Out in front, though, we still have Keats, and he's getting quite a distance going between him and the guys battling for second place. And Cedras, he's getting up on the close towards Williams, but let's see what and he's making a move on the outside, and it's still not happening for him. He cannot seem to get close enough to make that move.
Good attempt from Cedras, tried the switchback, tried to get underneath the rider in front, but unfortunately just wasn't to be. But this time, big dive to the inside. That is lovely from Jensen Cedras. Runs a little bit deep, but covers it off well. That is up into second for the number 2 machine. Wonderful move at a big corner, but slides on by. That is brilliant stuff from Jensen Cedras. There we see the 23, Henry Brody, leading the 26, it appears, of Danny Longhurst. No, in fact, that is Danny Longhurst leading the 67 of Joey Athisic as they make their way through the tight and twisty loop section down the middle of the racetrack. Athisic looking for a way through, perhaps. Can't quite find anything at the moment. It will be 6 laps to go for these guys as they cross the line. And there we see the 26 running very wide out the corner. It must be said, we've had some orders from race control this weekend for that final corner. You cannot run wide across the rumble strips. Of course, you can take a little bit wide. You can use some of that curb there, but especially in the senior classes as well, where they've got suspension and they do like to hang the bike out wide. If you go out wide there, that will be a 1 second penalty every time you do it. So you don't want to do it because it can cost you a lot of time. Yeah,
that you definitely don't, because the more you do it, the more time is just going to add up. You want to avoid that as much as possible. And let's just have a look at where we are right now. We still have Maxwell out in first place, followed by Jensen Cedras in second, and then Tommy Williams in third. It must be mentioned, Cedras has just done the fastest lap so far at 56.133. The leaders are really close together.
Yes, Cedras seems like a rider possessed at the moment. He is flying with that lap time. That is, well, 5/6 tenths quicker than anybody else out on the racetrack at the moment. Cedras, starting from third, wants to move forward. See that little bit of a check down from Maxwell Keats. Hopefully everything on the bike okay. Cedras looks to the inside once again. Can't find anything on that occasion, but he seems confident through that big right-hander. Of course, you do stand on the brakes a little bit, but to try and get the front of the bike down, and especially at the angle that he's entering the corner. Yes, there's a wide open racetrack there. There's a huge angle of attack for him to go for, but it's just very difficult to get through there. It down, and that looks to me like it's the 67 of Joey Athisic, who has had a fall. That's coming out of the opening section. He's up on his feet, which is great to see, and hopefully he is all okay. But the fact he is standing, that is a good sign. Lead is now coming through what I believe to be the scene of the accident. No, it's a little bit further on at the second chicane section we go through now. So, of course, no overtaking allowed through this section as they go through. It is still Maxwell Keats that leads Jensen Cedras. Cedras, though, he's pushing really hard. 4 laps to go.
He is, like you said, he's like an animal right now. He's just going to keep pushing at Keats to try and get that first position off of him. Yes, although he has got a podium position right now, he is desperate for that first, as every other rider is here today. And, is he going to make the move? No, but he's getting very close, very close to Keats right now. He still can't do it, and he's still following, but he's just taking his time just to keep on biting towards Keats and remind him that he's there on his tail wanting to take that position off of him. Cedras still following Keats right now. Let's see what happens. And no, Keats remains in first. He holds on to that position. Cedras is just being an animal, and he's on the corners, he gets close. He gets very, very close to Keats, but then on the straights, they seem to space out a little bit more again. And here we go. Keats is still leading this race currently. Let's see if Cedras is going to make a move. Is he going to? No, he stays behind Keats. He is very close. He could be making a move right now. Is he? No, he isn't. Keats is holding on to that first place as best as he can. Cedras is still following though, round these corners, and they're coming back up onto the first straight of the race, into the first corner, and Cedras is still on the tail of Keats, but I think there's a gap winding up here, and Keats is holding on to that first place pretty well.
I think Cedras may be having to rethink his strategy. All the corners where he's attacking, he can't quite find the way through. But at the same time, Maxwell Keats, he's defending into a few corners that I would be quite surprised to see him going again. Oh, Cedras again looks into that right-hander. Again, can't find anything. We saw the last two laps. Keats defends into the hairpin onto the infield section. We'll see if he does it here again. Cedras too far back to make a move. And this time, Keats does take a far more normal line. Runs a little bit deep, though. So that allows Cedras to close up once again. Can he get underneath them on the exit of the corner? Yes, he can. And through slides Jenson Cedras into the race lead, rockets out of the corner, and as they come to start the final lap, the yellow and black flag will be waved, or in fact it won't be waved. It's a last lap board apparently this season. It is Jenson Cedras who takes the lead, but Maxwell Keats is right alongside him. Can he try and get back through? Is he, as they make their way through traffic?
We will have to wait and see. Cedras is still holding on to that first place, and he has got quite a gap on Keats at the moment. These two are both riding the LC40 Elite, so it's been a very close competition between them. In third place at the moment, we have Tommy Williams on the AC40 Pro Series. Let's see what's happening. Cedras has really got a gap growing now on Keats. I think Keats has lost that first place, and Cedras is holding on to it well. He's just fighting through to get to the end of this race. Let's see what happens. Cedras is still currently in the lead, and Cedras is final flag. Cedras has won this race. Checkered flag, Jenson Cedras is the winner and takes first place, with Maxwell Keats following him in second place, Tommy Williams in third, Henry Brody in fourth place, and we will just see who is next to take the checkered flag.
There we go then, Jenson Cedras. He took 2 wins in the AC40 Rookies Cup last year, and he opens 2025 with 1 from 1. Cedras and Keats, the only 2 LC40 Elites, the only 2 liquid-cooled bikes we had out there in P1 and 2. But it was a harsh-fought battle between them as Cedras pushed onwards. He takes victory with Keats in second. And from third onwards, of course, this is first onwards in the AC40 Pro class. It was Tommy Williams rounding out the podium, Henry Brody fourth, Danny Longhurst fifth, Claudia Dubman in P6, Ethan Bayliss seventh, and Oliver Wilson P8. Unfortunately, we did lose Joey Apisic in that one, and he was our sole retirement. But a very, very exciting race to open up 2025. Some gaps forming there. We had some upsets potentially in the AC40 Pros. Riders maybe just not quite going the way that they wanted it. But in the LC40 Elites, even if these are the only 2 liquid-cooled bikes we have with us all season, we've potentially got a fantastic championship on our hands. What a fantastic battle we have just witnessed between Cedras and Keats, as we see them there sat receiving the applause of their colleagues and of some family and paddock members as well. Cedras wins the opening race of the season in the AC40 Pro LC40 Elite class, with Maxwell Keats in P2. Tommy Williams yet to come round to take his spot behind the third place board. He takes victory in the AC40 Pro category, with Henry Brody in second and Danny Longhurst in P2. Of course, these guys still got 2 more races tomorrow.
They have indeed. As you can see, the riders are just making their way out on their lap to come round and form their grid. Let's just do a quick little run through for you of what the grid will be for this second race. Starting on pole position, we will have Maxwell Keats. Following him in second is Tommy Williams. On our second row in third place, we will have Jenson Cedras. In fourth place, we will have Henry Brody. On our third row in 5th place will be Danny Longhurst, and then in 6th we will have Joey Athasich. 7th we'll see Claudia Dudman, and then in 8th Ethan Bayliss. Making up our last and final row in 9th place will be Oliver Wilson.
Yeah, very exciting grid to look forward to there. Just want to give a quick shout out to Danny Longhurst. She finished 3rd in the AC40 Pro class yesterday. Her first ever FAB-Racing podium. Fantastic result to her, and a very, very well-ridden race. Let's hope that's a sign of bigger and better things to come from that very talented young lass in 2025. Of course, the mini moto classes, they are using the infield layout. It sits at around 1,450 meters. The bigger bikes, the gear bikes, they run the outfield layout at just a touch over 1,000. So just a little thing to keep in mind on these guys. Will be hitting the anchors a little bit earlier as they come down the back straight before weaving in to that tight and awkward hairpin section, a very technical part of the racetrack, but it really allows these young riders to shine. Lee Clowes, the flag marshal, holds them at the front of the pack. Looks like everyone is okay. Just a bit of jigging on the fairing there for the number 86. That's Ethan Bayliss. But it looks like we are all clean to go racing. Maxwell Keats on the left. He's pole overall, pole in the LC40 Elites. Tommy Williams on the right, pole in AC40 Pro. It's time to go racing. We are underway for race number 2. Good launch there from Tommy Williams. Does he have a look to the outside? No. Unable to get through Maxwell Keats as they all slide around the opening chicane section. Looks like everyone got through cleanly and in order. Cedras looks to the inside slightly on Tommy Williams. Those are racing for different classes, so that is not for position, even if they're fighting overall on the track. More moves being made there in the background. Cedras looking vulnerable, and Cedras will concede a position for overall 3rd place there as they fly into the sweepers for the very first time. Nice move there, but up the front, it's got to be said, Maxwell Keats, a great start from him to hold that pole.
Indeed it was, and he is going to start making that gap and making it bigger away from the rest of the group. He wants to do everything he can to keep a hold of that first in the LC40 class today. They are just coming around the track now. Everybody seems up in the top half, very close together still from 1st to 5th, but they are coming round now, just completing that first lap. In 1st, we do still have Maxwell Keats from pole position. Following him in 2nd is now Jensen Cedras. Tommy Williams is now in 2nd place ahead of Jensen Cedras. Tommy Williams is still holding that 1st place position for the AC40 class.
Absolutely. We did see Henry Brody sliding by Cedras for 3rd overall a little bit earlier on, but he was able to get back through. Was Cedras. He looks to the inside. We saw a lot of that yesterday from a lot of the riders. Big looks up the inside into that big right-hand sweeper. Unfortunately, not able to work out that time for the number 2 machine, but he's looking racy once again, trying maybe to get through Tommy Williams on the 51 to slide up into 2nd overall as they make their way through the infield section. It'll be 7 laps left to go at the line for Maxwell Keats on the 24, who's got a bit of breathing room behind him at the moment. Gap currently sits at just under a second, so a little bit less pressure on him early doors in this race than he saw in race number 1. Cedras hasn't quite been able to make the progress that he made in the race yesterday as well. He's getting caught up a little bit behind the 51 of Tommy Williams. We saw him fighting with Henry Brody as well. That could be a little bit of a lifeline early doors for Keats.
It could be indeed. However, Cedras has just placed the fastest last lap of a 56.444. He's going to do everything he can to get that overall 2nd place away from Tommy Williams so he can hunt down Keats to take that first in the LC40 class. Just want to quickly mention Danny Longhurst. She is still 3rd place in the AC40 class. She's doing very well here this weekend.
She absolutely is. A brilliant weekend so far for the number 26 up the front, Maxwell Keats. Gap has closed down a little bit visually as they cross the line now down to just half a second. Tommy Williams has put in a monster lap there, 56.236. Cedras holding station behind as well. We saw him go for another one of those big lunges into the right-hand sweeper, but Williams was able just to bring the bike in and close the door and crucially keep his momentum, hold on to that 2nd place overall. Really interesting to see that Williams is up there on that AC40 Pro bike in the midst of the LC40 Elites. Once again, Cedras looks unable to quite do it. We saw it last season as well, where Logan Cousins on the LC40 Elite bike faced huge pressure from Mason Frederick on the AC40 bike. So it's interesting to see that even though they're two different classes, they can fight together out on the track.
Indeed it is, and Williams is kind of caught in the middle right now of Keats and Sadras on those LC40s. He's going to do everything he can to either take that first from Keats overall, or he should maybe think about getting out of the way of these two battling away.
Well, he seems to be looking here and there. He was certainly a look to the inside heading into the final corner, decided against making a move, but Tommy Williams clearly feeling very, very confident, clearly had his Weetabix this morning as he pushes on through again, leading the race in the AC40 Pro class by quite some margin. He's got about a 2-second gap to the next AC40 bike. That's Henry Brody, P4 overall. Cedras looks to the inside, and this time I believe he does get the move, and indeed he does. A lovely move for the number 2. It took him a few goes, but now we see Jensen Cedras on that LC40 bike up into second place overall and maintaining that second place in class as well. In front of him, overall race leader, class race leader.
Yeah, oh no, Jensen has made that move and he has took first place away from Maxwell Keats. Keats is going to be quite disappointed in himself right now, and he's going to do everything he can to hunt down Jensen Sadras to take that first place back. But that seemed to be quite an easy move for Sadras. He just flew past Keats to take that first place away from him. Yeah,
that was brilliant racing from the number 2, but now he has to go on the defensive. The hunter becomes the hunted. Can the 24 respond? Can maybe Tommy Williams try and get involved in, well, only time will tell. 4 laps, more like 3.5 to go. Elsewhere in the pack, Henry Brody in P4, Danny Longhurst in P5. They are second and third in the AC40 Pro class. We've also got Joey Aftasic, who's in a bit of no man's land just off of those podium places there. Tommy Williams, a small gap to the inside there for him, but didn't go for it, as well as Maxwell Keats. Keats, again, we saw him looking down at the bike a lot yesterday, and he seems to be a little bit slow coming out of the corners. I wonder if maybe he's just struggling to get the drive down onto the racetrack, and he's just looking down almost like, what's going on with the bike? Why isn't it going forwards?
Yeah, and we are coming into now. We have got 3 laps left to go. Jensen Sadras has also, from first position, just set the fastest lap of this race so far. He has just done a 56.217. He is going to widen that gap. He's got a 0.6 second lead ahead of Maxwell Keats currently, and he's going to be looking to just keep building that completely as best as he can. Let's now just have a look. Here is Danny Longhurst, Henry Brody coming round in second place in the AC40 Pro class. He is going to look to try and catch up with Tommy Williams to maybe look at having a fight with him to take that first in the AC40 Pro class away from him.
We did see Brody fighting with Maxwell Keats, or Jensen Cedras should I say, and Tommy Williams at the start of this race. He's dropped back just a little bit. He's able to get his head down and push on though as we start our penultimate lap of the race. Maybe, just maybe, there is an opportunity to slide up into first, but it might just be, unfortunately, a little bit too late for him to make any moves. Cedras Keats continue to push on. Another fastest lap there for our race leader of 55.936. So lap time's getting quicker, of course. The track surface a little bit colder, a little bit of condensation overnight, so not quite as quick as it was yesterday, but it's just going to keep improving and improving as the riders make their way around.
Indeed, it is 2 laps left to go. Well, 1.5 really. Here are our front leaders at the moment. Jensen Sadras and Maxwell Keats coming round into that tight infield section. These guys are in the LC40 class, and here we go, coming round now that final corner, ready to start the final lap. Here we go. Here the final lap is Jensen Sadras is leading ahead of Maxwell Keats for that first place in the LC40 class. Tommy Williams is third overall at the moment, but first place for the AC40 Pro class. But here is our leader, Jensen Sadras. He is just flying right now. We're ready to complete this last lap and take that win, just like he did in that first race yesterday. We are coming round now. Jensen Sadras still holding that first place desperately as he can, but Maxwell Keats is closing in on him. He does not want to let this go. They are coming round now into that tight infield section. Jensen Sadras is holding on to that first place with all that he can do. Coming round round now into that final corner of this last lap of this second race, and Jensen Sadras takes the checkered flag, taking that first place for the LC40 class. Maxwell Keats in second place, taking that checkered flag. Did set the fastest lap on that last lap though of a 55.820. Tommy Williams, third overall, but has taken first place for the AC40 Pro class.
2 from 2 then for Cedras on the number 2 machine, as well as Tommy Williams taking his second win in the AC40 Pros. Potentially 2 riders looking to sweep the opening weekend here. Once again, Maxwell Keats found a little bit of pace, but it was too little too late. He'll have to settle for second in LC40 Elite. So it's Cedras from Keats in LC40 Elite, and then in the Pro class, it is Tommy Williams from Henry Brodie from Danny Longhurst. Another podium for her. Fantastic result there. Joey Aftersich in P4, Claudia Dubman P5, Ethan Bayliss in 6th, and Oliver Wilson in P7. That rounds out the AC40 Pros there. 7 out of the 9 riders on this grid. So a very, very interesting race. We saw a bit more action from the AC40 Pros getting involved with the LC40 Elites. Although they're racing in different classes, they're still on track at the same time, still fighting for overall positions, and of course that can upset the order of the race just a little bit and sets up a very interesting race number 3 later on, Izzy.
It does indeed. Tommy Williams especially kept firm his place for as long as he could between Jensen Sadras and Maxwell Keats. He is on the AC40 Pro bike, separating the 2 of them from the LC40 Elite class for as long as he was able to. They are just coming round now back into the pits. We are looking forward to our second race of today, which will be the second race for the AC40 Rookie class. And we will see what will be happening there in just a little bit. And here we go. We are starting our last races right now. Coming up first, we have got our brilliant AC40 Pro starting soon. Let's find out how we are looking today. We are going to have some brilliant racing from them today. In race 1 and 2, we saw some brilliant fighting and some brilliant battles going on. Jason Sadras topped our first race yesterday, following by Maxwell Keats. Earlier this morning, we saw them race again, and we are getting ready to start our third and final race of the day.
We absolutely are. It's been really fascinating. Of course, 2 classes here. We've got the AC40 Pros, the air-cooled bikes, and then we have the liquid-cooled bikes as well. So 2 different races happening on the track at the same time. And of course, as they make their way out onto the racetrack, it's going to be exciting to see how it all unfolds. Starting on pole position, once again, Maxwell Keats with Tommy Williams alongside Jensen Cedras. Our only other liquid-cooled bike starts in P3 with Henry Brodie going off of 4th place. 3rd row on the grid is Danny Longhurst with Joey Aftersich in P6. Claudia Dubman is 7th with Ethan Bayliss in P8. And Oliver Wilson rounds out our 9-rider grid. Izzy, we've seen some titanic fights so far in this class. Interestingly enough, though, in race number 2 earlier on, we saw the fact that Tommy Williams on the air-cooled bike able to take the fight to the liquid-cooled bikes of Keats and Cedras.
He did indeed. That was brilliant to watch earlier. He found himself slap bang in the middle of those 2 liquid-cooled bikes. It's the last race for them today here at Lydd to see what they can pull from these bikes and prove themselves ready for the next weekend in a couple of weeks. They are still just coming round on their outlap right now, getting ready to set up the grid for this race. Like Ross said, on a pole position is Maxwell Keats on his LC40 Elite bike, and it will be brilliant to see what he can pull out of it in this last race.
I have to wait and see, making their way on to the grid now. And the riders knowing this is their last chance here at Lydd to try and fight for glory. We have to wait and see if anyone is able to stop the likes of Tommy Williams and Jensen Cedras. Of course, it's only the opening round of the season, but you still want to try and kickstart your championship with the best results possible, especially if you want to get in early, stake your claim for one of the titles. We'll have to wait and see who is going to come through. Race number 3 for the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites awaits us here. The lights are out, we are underway. Great start by both riders on the front row of the grid. Jensen Cedras, a really disappointing getaway, drops down to 5th place away from the line, but is able to, I believe, slide his way back into 4th place fairly quickly, and indeed he has. Up the front though, Keats leads Tommy Williams, both of them getting away very, very cleanly down into turn number 1. Cedras though, he'll be really disappointed with that start. Given himself a bit of work to do to try and work his way back forward.
Indeed, like you said, Keats is leading this race on that liquid cool bike, and he is doing brilliant so far. A bit of a rough start for Jensen Cedras there, dropping down to 5th place like you said, but what we have got here is a move, and past the number 26 they come, and that is the number 2 of Jensen Cedras. He has gained another place on this first lap of the AC40 Pro and LC40 Elite race. We are coming now into the second lap. 9 laps left to go of this race. Absolutely brilliant to see so far. Oh, we got a little fight going on there. We have got Tommy Keats and Tommy Williams, in second, following behind Maxwell Keats on the LC40. Brilliant start for him, and he is out and leading. Tommy Williams has found himself up there again though, in between the 2 LC40 elites.
Meanwhile, battle going on for 4th place overall. That's Danny Longhurst on the 26 bike, who's managed to get in front of Henry Brody there. Great stuff from her. Let's see if she can hold on to what will be 2nd place in the air-cooled class. But Brody, a fierce competitor, he'll be putting her under a lot of pressure, trying to slide his way through as Danny Longhurst loses the rear of the bike straight back up. Throttle is stuck on, but the bike looks okay. A very low-speed accident. And is everything okay? Calling over a roving marshal, just getting the bike restarted. Danny's going, come on, hurry up, I need to get back into this thing. Does get going once again, but that's a real shame for Danny Longhurst. That'll see her dropping down the order.
Very much a real shame for her, definitely. She was fighting so hard then to hold on to a position, but it just was a little bit too much and she lost control of that bike. Leader of this race at the moment though, Maxwell Keats on his LC40, putting in a brilliant lap time of 55.755 seconds. He has got a 2-second lead now on Tommy Williams, who is riding on his AC40 Pro. Absolute brilliant race. Jason Cedras though, hot on the tail of Tommy Williams on his LC40, wanting to take back that 2nd position overall so he can take the fight to Maxwell Keats, also riding on an LC40 like him. Absolute brilliant racing we are seeing here from him, and he is doing brilliantly this weekend and wanting to take home a podium position as much as he can.
Absolutely, coming down now into the 2nd chicane section. And Williams just holding on from Cedras at the moment. 3.8 seconds back from Maxwell Keats is Tommy Williams. So with 6 laps left to go, Cedras has a huge ask ahead of him if he wants to try and fight his way for a race win once again this weekend. The 2, he loves looking to the inside there, coming into that sweeper, but more often than not, it's just not quite able to work. If you're running the more traditional line, the outside line coming into the right-hander, you can just sweep on round, use that momentum, and close the door side. There is the race leader. Maxwell Keats on the 24 blows by, and there you can see the huge gap. And there you can see as well, Jensen Cedras sliding up the inside of Tommy Williams for 2nd overall. Of course, he was still 2nd in class, but when you're out on the track, you're not really thinking about that. You're just racing.
No, and you know that Tommy Williams, although he has dropped to 3rd overall, will still be very happy with the fact he is coming 1st currently for the AC40 Pros. Brilliant racing we are seeing here today. Jensen Cedras, though, building that gap now between him and Tommy Williams. He is going to want to hunt down Maxwell Keats in these last 5 laps to try and take that 1st position, but we will see if he's able to do it. Keats still has a 5-second lead currently in this race.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well, Maxwell Keats. Of course, part of that would have been gifted to him a little bit. Jensen Cedras, another disappointing start, but Keats has just ridden away at the front of the pack. No real other close battles on track at the moment. these are the closest two bikes to each other. Cedras and Williams, of course, fighting for overall position, but in two different classes. Tommy Williams does lead in the AC, the air-cooled class, with Henry Brody second and Joey Athisic in P3. Danny Longhurst currently 7th overall after remounting following her small fall. Great to see that she's still pushing around in 26, and it was great to see her up there pushing for podium places earlier on in the race as well. 4 laps left to go then in this one, and it is Tommy Keats who is flying, or Maxwell Keats should I say, who's flying away at the front in the liquid cool class. Tommy Williams in P3 overall and P1 in air-cooled. He is also dominating pretty much in that category.
He is indeed. Maxwell Keats has got his lead and is holding onto it. Jensen Cedras on the number 2 in position 2 currently is still hunting him down. The gap now is at a 4.787 seconds between them, with these now 3 laps left to go. Maxwell Keats though comfortable in his lead, still pushing that bike to get everything he can out of it in this final race today for these lot, but he is still pushing everything he can. He is in the LC40 Elite race, absolutely topping right now above Jensen Cedras, also in the LC40 Elite. Tommy Williams sat 3rd overall currently, but 1st place in the AC40 Pro. Following him, Henry Brody for the AC40 Pro and Joey Athisic for the AC40 Pro makes him 3rd. Brilliant racing we have seen from these guys all weekend, and we are on the last few laps for the AC40 Pro and LC40 Elite races this weekend.
Yeah, really, really exciting stuff. Danny Longhurst moves up to P6 overall, gets past Claudia Dubb, and that's P4 in class for her now. Potential opportunity to slide back onto the podium if anybody else has any issues, but with 2 laps left to run, the gap between herself and Joey Athisic in P3 or P5 overall on your timing tower, just a little bit too big. So then, 2 laps to go. Maxwell Keats continues to dominate from the front, and Tommy Williams, who you see there on the 51, doing a fantastic job. But Maxwell Keats, I mean, he's just come out there. Yes, Jensen Cedras had his struggles early on, had a disappointing start, had to fight his way through a lot of riders, but he's ridden really, really well. And the gap back to Cedras, 4.8 seconds on the line last time, shows just how well he's ridden.
It does indeed. 2 laps left to go currently in this race, and I am looking forward to seeing what will happen in the rest of this season between the 2 guys battling in the LC40 Elite class, Maxwell Keats and Jensen Cedras. We are now starting the final lap here at Lydd, race 3 of the AC40 Pro and LC40 Elite class. Maxwell Keats in 1st place overall, 1st place also currently for the LC40 Elite, absolutely dominating, just making his way through a bit of traffic now on this final lap for him. Let's see if that causes any issues for him, any holds up, but it doesn't look like it will. He's absolutely loving it, absolutely enjoying his weekend here this weekend. Brilliant to see from him. Tommy Williams 3rd place overall, but still holding on to that 1st place for the AC40 Pro class in this final race for these guys this weekend. Coming round now that tight infill section, coming out into that last corner is coming Maxwell Keats. Absolute domination in 1st place through him. He is about to take that checkered flag. Here it is, he takes it and takes home 1st place for the LC40 Elite. Cedras 2nd place, absolute brilliant race from him this weekend in that battle between those 2 in the LC40 Elite. Tommy Williams has just took the checkered flag, 3rd place overall for him, 1st place in the AC40 Pro class.
Really, really exciting stuff there to wrap up the weekend for the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites. Maxwell Keats dominates out on track and in the Elites class to finish a strong weekend from South Cedras. Unfortunately, could only manage 2nd overall, 2nd in class after a strong showing nonetheless. And it was Tommy Williams, Henry Brody, Joey Athisic, P3, 4, 5 overall, P1, 2, 3 in the AC40 Pros. Danny Longhurst, I've got to say though, after that fall, getting back up to P4 in class, a phenomenal result for her. Claudia Dunman was P5, Ethan Bayliss P6, and Oliver Wilson P7. That's it then from this class. They are done and dusted. They'll be packing up the bike, heading off home, and it'll be all finished. Of course, they'll be back out of next round when we head to Ella Park on the weekend of the 30th of May to June the 1st. course, anyone watching along who maybe wasn't able to make it here this weekend, or maybe wasn't sure about joining FAB-Racing, head over to the FAB-Racing website, find out if you want to take part. And of course, if you're watching along, and if maybe you're an older rider and fancy giving some racing a go, you're more than welcome to. We do, of course, have senior riders here as well. If you are just joining us, hello and welcome wherever you're watching around the world. You've just missed the opening race 3 of the weekend, the final race of the weekend for the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites at the opening round of the 2025 Mastermac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. There then, Maxwell Keats will make his way behind the podium board there in P1. A phenomenal result for him. Jensen Cedras in second place, Tommy Williams third overall and first in class.